Hello, my name is Maxwell Pelays. In the following presentation, I will be examining the cultural and political backgrounds of the North Central European Union, which specifically focuses on Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. I wanted to begin by examining the general cultural trends of these four countries. To do this, I've utilized the Hofstede Insights Country Comparison tool. This examines a given country's power distance, individualism, masculinity, uncertainty avoidance, long-term orientation, and indulgence. Each score correlates to the prominence of a cultural aspect in a given country, meaning the higher the score, the more prominent a cultural trend is in that country. For the most part, these four countries are very similar culturally. However, there are a few notable differences present. Significantly, Belgium scores higher with power distance, meaning that there is a greater distance between business leaders and the individuals who follow them, meaning business roles are more rigid than they are in other countries, and important decisions are more centralized. Germany scores lower with indulgence, meaning that Germans, as a whole, are more restrained when it comes to spending money and taking leisure time. The Netherlands yield a lower masculinity score. In this context, it is important to note that masculinity refers to the competitive drive as opposed to gender behavior. Generally, the higher the score, the more competitiveness and individual drive will be displayed by their citizens. The Netherlands' low score indicates its citizens' priority is on compassion and caring for other people. Finally, the United Kingdom shows lower scores with uncertainty avoidance, meaning that UK citizens are more likely to take risks and work out certain details for themselves, and long-term orientation, meaning that the people as a whole are more set in their current ways and necessarily are not ready to make sweeping social changes. In all four of these countries, equality of religion, race, and gender are mandated by their respective governments. From a business perspective, any defiance of these equalities comes at the penalty of governmental punishment and/or prosecution. However, the broad legality of these equalities does not necessarily eliminate individual prejudice and inequality. On the whole, though, it would be safe to market specifically to various groups without significant backlash from the countries as a whole. When conducting international business relations with all four countries, punctuality and a maintenance of professionalism are highly valued, if not necessary. In many cases, there is little excuse for tardiness. Most conversations with new business partners or superiors are to be kept formal, although some leeway is granted as relationships are built. It is also advised to steer away from any controversial subject matter in conversation. On a particular note, business conversations in the United Kingdom may contain self-deprecating and ironic humor. This is generally accepted throughout the United Kingdom and should not be viewed as unbecoming. It's all part of the culture. However, as a foreign business partner, it is unwise to partake in this yourself, as it is usually only reserved for the locals. Belgium, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom all operate under some sort of constitutional monarchy, where power is split between a royal head of state and a prime minister. Meanwhile, Germany operates under a federal republic, with executive power being shared by a president and the chancellor. The key aspect that unites all four of these countries is their separation of powers, with a split between executive, judicial, and legislative branches, much the same as in the United States. In terms of politics interfering with trade between this section of Europe and the United States, much of the difficulty is derived from the United States itself. Since coming into office, President Donald Trump has taken an America First stance, prioritizing the strengthening of America's economy above all else, and squaring at least some of the blame for America's trade difficulties on its trade partners, including much of the European Union, citing trade deficits between the two regions. In response, President Trump has levied tariffs on various European exports entering the United States, mostly from Germany, which have the potential to damage various U.S.-European business relationships. In their own vacuum, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom are politically stable for the most part. One significant political risk is a potential transfer of power between German Chancellor Angela Merkel as the country gears up for its general next general election in 2021. According to Marsh's 2019 political risk evaluation, Merkel's long and extensive time in office makes it increasingly difficult for a successor to maintain Germany's prominent economic position. The second, and by far more significant political risk in the region is Brexit. In short, Brexit is the colloquial term for the United Kingdom's separation from the European Union and a reorganization of its trade relations with Europe as a whole. A formal referendum to leave the European Union was put to public vote on June 23, 2016, and was passed. It took over 3 more years of further negotiation within Parliament before the United Kingdom officially left the European Union on January 31, 2020. The primary risk associated with Brexit is the uncertainty of what will follow now that the UK is officially out. The New York Times says that depending on the exit strategy, the UK could see a 4 to 9% drop in its economy over the next 15 years, which perfectly encapsulate the potential trepidation in the business community. Certainly, the need to reorganize and renegotiate previously established trade relations with the rest of Europe certainly adds its own speculation. Basically, only time will tell how Brexit will affect the rest of Europe and the world at large. Based on all the previous information, what conclusions could be drawn in terms of doing business with these countries? As was established in the beginning, all 4 countries share similar cultural priorities, with some exceptions. As a result, the marketing for any new product should be fairly similar, which has the potential to save money on advertising costs. And when approaching potential international partners, it is wise to carry oneself in a conservative, professional, and punctual manner, as it is the accepted way in all 4 of these countries. In terms of politics, however, it would be wise to keep an eye on the goings-on both at home and abroad. President Trump's America First rhetoric and levying tariffs could complicate international business relations, and the uncertainty surrounding Brexit has the potential to further complicate international trade, as the foundation of new trade agreements may drastically alter Europe's economy. However, as was previously stated, no one knows for sure how Brexit will fully play out, and no one knows for sure what changes could be coming. Given the vast similarities that exist between all 4 of these countries, however, doing business with Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom should be possible, so long as an eye is kept on shifting economic and political trends. And these slides contain all of the sources I used to compile the information for this presentation. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody for their time in listening to this presentation.